Okay. Been Sag? Aw, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope it's nothing too serious. I don't know if just like if it's something specific or just a lot of small things building up. But still, I'm sorry. Uh-oh. You don't have to worry about quote-unquote ruining the mood. Like, you're my friend, Mortis, so if there's anything I can say or do to help, or anything that anyone here can say or do to help, then I'd like to. Oh my god. Obviously, if you don't want to talk about it, then that's a different story. I'm not gonna make you. Because that ain't right. I just don't want anyone to feel like they're gonna be a burden if they have to talk about something serious. Or... Aww. I'm sorry. I wish I could say stuff like that goes away, but... Hold on. I will say this. 2 years is not a long time, but long enough to where it's still extremely, and like even based on how you worded it, it's extremely apparent that the person meant a lot to you. You know? And so I don't know if this is like, put this down.
It's like watching a train wreck. Wow.
I don't know if this is like a weird thing to say, or you know, people can interpret this however they want, but like, I don't know. It's the sort of thing where the silver lining, I suppose, is that like you met the person in the first place, and obviously they've left some sort of long-lasting impression on you. You know, that it's been 2 years. It's been long enough to where most of the shock value and initial grieving has passed, and it's still, you know, it's like, and obviously you still care. Obviously they've left some sort of long-lasting impression on you, you know. Still though, it never gets easy, you know. But yeah. Thinking about them in a positive way is always important. This is taking 101 years to load. Yeah. The other thing, like, truthfully, and I think this goes for everyone, but, like, the person would definitely not want you to be super sad about it or super bummed out or, like, hold on to it in a negative way for longer than you need to, you know? So, I think knowing that helps even just a little bit. Alright. I have to say this every time it comes up, and it's something that I still think about, like, fairly often. I still feel horrible about Axe Engineer. Like, genuinely, it breaks my heart every time I think about it, to be honest. Yeah, I don't remember the exact day, but I know it was in December when Foggin found the obituary. But September this year marked 2 years since, yeah, 2 years since the accident. It just It truly, truly does break my heart every time I think about it. You know? I suppose if you don't know, let me perhaps give a bit of context. So, Axe Engineer was a member of the Ratchet community. I don't remember offhand. I don't think so. If they ever had plans to run themselves, but someone who just appreciated watching runs as a fan of the game, you know. I know Rack 2 in particular was their favorite, because we talked about that a lot. And they were originally from Turkey, but they were going to school here in America, in Florida, But because of that, they were not living under the greatest conditions. Their parents couldn't send them any money, so they were living off of whatever, I guess like a student loan program or something. I never bothered to ask about details because it's not really anyone's business. But because of that, like, they couldn't really, like, they were eating poorly and living conditions weren't the greatest. You know, it was a very, very rough time, and they told me that watching this stream, watching Zem stream, and perhaps a handful of others, but I know they specifically mentioned those two, were very helpful in perhaps dealing with all of that, dealing with the culture adjustment, dealing with the social adjustment, you know, all of this. And then I do vaguely remember him telling me at one point that things were looking up. I don't remember all of the details, if like money was finally able to be sent over or something, or someone at the school he was going to at the time. But I distinctly remember him telling me that things were starting to look up. And then we didn't hear from him for a little bit, you know, a few months. And then in December of 2021, Falgen, who some of you may know, they were in here earlier, did a little bit of digging and found an obituary, which he also knew Axe fairly well and was able to. It was like, yep, that's the name. That's 100% them, and they had. The obituary read that they had passed away in a car accident in September. They didn't give any details outside of it being a car accident. And, hi, Foggen. Yeah, and they were only 19 at the time. Which, like, that's already all heartbreaking, but I think about that, and I'm like, oh my god, like... Oh my god, dude. Like, it actually breaks my heart every time I have to think about it. Truthfully, I really don't know what to say after all of that. Still, you know, like I said, it'll be almost 2 years since we found out, but, in December, but still. a lot to take in. I don't know how many of you guys were around watching the stream back in those days, but some of you may remember there was a stream where I literally on stream DoorDashed him McDonald's because he literally had not eaten in 24 hours. Like it was that bad. Like it's the more and more I look at all of it, like, just the more sour I feel, like, you know? Man, where are my tissues at? Like, I'm not even joking about that, I swear. You know, flying to the other side of the world in hopes of going to school, and it's all just miserable, and you know, family's not there. You're in a totally different environment, so any sense of, you know, social circle is gone. Man, you know, no money, and then things finally start to look up, and then that happens, you know. It sucks. And it breaks my heart to think about. I feel like a broken record right now, I apologize, but bums me out to think about anytime it's really gone off the rails in the last 10 minutes. You know, like, reminder, I mean this. I swear it's not virtual signal. I can't even say the word, dude. Oh my god. You know, I'm always 100% honest about everything. So if I say something bums me out, regardless of how, you know, big or how small, or like I mean it. I don't want, like, anyone to take this for anything other than what I will say at face value. Oh, where am I? That's not what I'm trying to say. But, no, sir. But, like, you can't exactly be told, like, all of this, like, all of these horror stories about, like, horrible living conditions and uncertainty and, you know, truly, like, feeling like no one is there because literally no one is there. And on top of that, being told that, you know, this stream meant a lot to them, and having someone to talk to or a place to, you know, voice their thoughts on whatever, or even talk. I remember he would talk about playing Rack 2 with his dad, you know, talking about stuff like that, and him telling me that, like, having all of that in the midst of all of this, you know, horrible living conditions and whatnot made it that much more bearable. Like, I don't know. At least for me, there's no way I can hear something like that, and especially knowing how the story ends, unfortunately, and again, it not leave some sort of impression on you, you know? Like, I can't, like, that's a lot to take in. So of course I still think about it, you know? Like, I feel like anytime we have to have a serious conversation like this, I have to bring this up. Like, look, we're all on this website, and we're all here today because we like a 20-year-old game that we probably played 20 years ago, you know? On paper, it doesn't need to be anything more than that, you know? It's like, why are any of us here? How did all of us get to, you know, be here? Well, it's probably because we really liked Ratchet and Clank, you know, a game we probably played as a kid, you know? But, like, I don't know, like, there's so much more to it than that. Like, that might all be true. Oh my god, game not now. But, like, I don't know. There's just there's so much more to it, you know. And that's why, like, it bums me out to see, like, not to, like, change course of topic or whatever, but, like, people fighting and arguing and you know, yelling about this and that. It's like, I don't know. I think about stuff like what happened with Axe, or, you know, I've seen and been a part of a handful of other similar instances. I think it was in Ricky's stream earlier that Apollo Legend got mentioned, and I was like, wow, I haven't thought about Apollo in a long time, and I don't remember the full story on that, so I'm not gonna talk about it. But I remember that was a big deal. When I remember so many friends of mine were heartbroken when that happened. This run's horrible, by the way, but whatever. I don't care. I'm just playing the game. I got more important things to address at the moment. You know? I'm just thinking, I can't think of his name. Who was the Tetris player? I have a name on the tip of my tongue, but I don't want to say it if it's the wrong name, so anyone who is, maybe, more, knowledgeable, oh my god, dude. Why is the name escaping me right now? Jonas Neubauer. Yep. That's the one. Oh, man. I remember that was a big deal, too. Oh, no, Max, I know 100%. I know 100%. Like, I guess it's just more so, like, I want people to know that, like, I'm not just saying stuff like that, like, out of principle. Like, I do mean it every time, you know? Same, like, I don't know. Pretty much, like, of course, as a human being, I will occasionally say the wrong thing at the wrong time, but, you know, happens. But, like, I would never lie about anything, you know? Like, you know, if I say something bums me out, again, regardless of how big or how small, you know? If I say something means a lot to me, like, again, regardless of how big or how small, like, I mean it every single time, you know? And maybe it's because of things like this, that things that, like, I've been, like, personally a part of, or I've seen firsthand, you know? Maybe why, like, I don't, like, I just try not to take anyone I've met for granted, you know? Like, genuinely. I think about, like... Because at this point, I've done this... And even, like in playing music and whatnot, you know? Like, I've met so many people and talked with so many people that, like... I just try not to take any of it for granted, you know? Again, like, literally we are all here because we all happened to play a game 20 years ago. Like, of all weird, trivial things. And, like, because of that, like, I've met people from... I didn't get this, that sucks. I've met people from all over America, all over Europe, all over Australia, you know, people from the tiniest of countries, like, and it's literally because we all just happen to end up here. And so with that in mind, it's like, yeah, I just want to make the most of it, you know? People, I say it a lot because it honestly, like, I think about it a lot. Especially after, you know, next year will mark, well, this year will marked, it's already happened, it happened in August, marked 5 years of being a part of this community. I've seen a lot of people come and go over the years. Some people, you know, don't come back. Whether that's, you know, again, like in the case of X, a very serious thing, or just, I don't know, it just doesn't mean anything to them. And like, look, if it doesn't mean anything to them anymore, then why would they show up? You know? And so, I know not all of us are gonna be on this website forever. And so, again, like, while we're here, it's like, let's just make the most out of it. It's crazy and wild that we all ended up here anyway, so the last thing I want to do is get in fights or, you know, start drama or something. Like, it's not contributing anything. If, you know, like, again, in this case, if we do, there is tragedy or adversity or whatnot, you know, then that's one thing, but I'm not out here to go and cause anything. And, like, look, I don't like talking about this because I feel, especially compared to the music world, let me fucking tell you, I feel fortunate that I have not met too many, like big deal shitters through speedrunning. I've met people who sometimes open their mouth way too much. Whatever, you know, happens. People have opinions. There's a lot of immature people, you know, occasionally, you know, okay. You know, this is a funny thing to say after the last 10 minutes of dialogue. I just fucked dialogue, bro. Moving on. But, like, it's the internet. Don't take anything too seriously. Someone wants to start fucking running their mouth, like, okay, whatever. Unless it is like a serious deal, but that's... Remember when I said, like, there's few things in this world worth getting mad over? I meant that too. Someone says, dude, your run sucks, LOL. Like, pfft. Like, what, you want me to start yelling over that? Like, are you kidding me? But, you know. There have, unfortunately, you... Bro, not now. I'm mid-thought. There are occasionally, I have encountered a few, like... A few actual shitters, like, where it's more than just people being immature and running their mouth, but, like, actually, like, you know, people, whether it's myself or friends of mine or whatnot, being hurt in the process, and that's not cool. I'm not out here to fucking spread that or be a part of that or... Oh, God. What's up, Fatty? What's up, Karafid? Yeah, I apologize for anyone waltzing in on what has now been 30 minutes of 30 plus minutes of very serious conversation, but you know, and I say this a lot too, and I mean it every single time, because to truly wrap all of this, you know, back together, look, I get people don't want to like bring the mood down or, you know, sour the occasion or whatnot, but like, look, if we gotta have serious talk, then we gotta. My philosophy, theory, whatever, whether it's true or not is a different story, but in my head, anytime we have a conversation like this, I always think to myself, someone needs to hear this. Someone probably doesn't know they need to hear this, they didn't ask to hear it, but they're gonna hear it and they're gonna be like, huh. You know? Maybe get some sort of closure on something that happened to them 5 years ago. Maybe make them stop and think, you know, I should, like, I don't know, talk to this person again, or, you know, try and, or, you know, let me stop and think and reflect on my life and what, you know, these circumstances, maybe something I'm going through now, something I've went through, whatever, but, like, stop and think and reflect and maybe learn something. I don't know. Again, maybe that's not the case, but if one person heard what I had to say or what any of you guys had to add onto the conversation and learned something from it, then that's awesome. And if that doesn't happen, for, you know, if no one learned anything, we just sat and talked about it, if that's the worst outcome, I don't really see a problem with that, you know? Obviously, we wouldn't be talking about it in the first place if it didn't mean something to someone, you know? Because if it meant nothing to all of us, then we wouldn't have brought it up in the first place. Alright, deep breath, everyone. That really was like 30-something minutes straight of just... Alright. I hope someone got something out of that. Because, yeah, it needs to be said, you know? If there's any takeaway, don't take anything for granted. And don't be a shitter, because there's literally no point. We're not contributing anything, we're not...
be rebroadcast at 7 on
92.
channel 4073.
Never mind. Yeah. By the way, this also needs to be said. That is all just my opinion. If you are of the ideology of you just don't want to bring the vibe down in your stream or in whatever conversation you know, may be partaking in, there's nothing wrong with that because, you know, I mean, it's not called serious talk for nothing. Like, it is... Oh, boy. I'm sure for a lot... And, you know, some conversations we've had, I'm not gonna lie, have been hard to talk about. If me, you know, sitting in silence at multiple points during the earlier part of this conversation, thinking about Axe, you know, some of it's hard for me to talk about too, but... But yeah, you know, like, it needs to be said. If someone gets something, regardless of how big or small it is, out of this conversation, then the whole thing was worth it. You know? Ain't no way.
No.
By the way, this run is not good at all. I don't really care about the run at all. I don't think anyone here does. I'm just playing so I can get all of my thoughts out, and I've literally been playing on autopilot this entire time. And, I can still 54 if I play well, so... You know, that's pretty cool. If my PlayStation were to crash right now, that's A-okay, because I don't care about the run. I care way more about getting all of my thoughts out the way. I need to also go ahead and reinstate something I said earlier because it's very important to me, and I've heard a few, like, even friends of mine say things of a similar nature, and it does high-key bum me out. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen a few people... Hold on, let me do this jump real fast. Let me actually pay attention for 5 seconds. Okay. And now I forgot where to... See, this is why we can't do this, dude. Okay. Something that I heard straight up come out of one of my friends' mouths a couple days ago. On their own stream, by the way, which... And I know... Not to call them out, but I know Mortis said this earlier, but, like... I don't know. It bums me out, like, straight... Like... There I fucking go again, dude. Bums me out when people think that they can't come and talk about... They just feel like they can't talk about things, or, like, they don't want to... yeah, like they just feel like they can't talk about things. They feel like they can't, like, you know, I don't remember exactly what the other person said, but it was like, you know, oh, no one wants to listen to me, or no one wants to hear about this. It's like, that like hurt to hear, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it genuinely bummed me out to hear. Cause like again, I feel like I'm really hammering this in. I don't mean to. I apologize if I sound like a broken record, but like, I just feel like it is important to talk about things like this, you know? It's important to... Because again, we all ended up here today for one reason or another, but because we liked Ratchet and Clank, we played it as a kid, you know, whatever, or just games of this nature in general. And so, that's how we got here, but what we do while we're here, we might as well make the most of it. I've been extremely fortunate. One, first and foremost, let me get this out the way, that people care at all in the first place. You know? Like, I don't know who was all here before the Josh raid, but anyone who's been watching, some of y'all have been here for a while now, so, you know, like, I'm just forever thankful that people care enough in the first place to show up. Or if you came in from the Josh raid, anyone who cared enough to stick around, you know? Like, again, not taking anything for granted. Like, it means a lot, like, genuinely. Like, I like this game a lot. I like playing this game. I like running this game. 52 is important to me. You know, all of that. Good ball count. Sorry, I had to get that one out the way. Sorry to derail the conversation for a second. But, like, there's always gonna be that extra bit of a push to, you know, carve time out of my day to come here and do this, you know? And some, you know, of course it's for myself first and foremost, for a whole plethora of reasons, but like, if other people care, dude, awesome, you know? There's been, I could probably name fucking 30 people right now, to be honest. 30 streams that were very, very impactful to me, and like, you know, for whatever serious, you know, stuff I may have been going through at the time, but like streams that were there for me, or streams that like meant a lot to me, you know? Like, I told this story the other day too. Reminder, and maybe in the long run, why, that sucks, why this all means so much to me is because in August of 2018, I was working a horrible job. I was in a awful, all across the board abusive relationship. I was branded an alcoholic, which was definitely over-exaggerated. I can say that pretty confidently, you know, 5-6 years later. But and I'll be honest, things were not looking good. So amidst all of that world, I had oh, what am I doing? You know, I all of a sudden found myself with people to talk to, a place to voice how I was feeling, people that cared enough to listen, people that cared enough to still want to be my friend after listening. And, you know, I never forgot that. Like, I think about that time. I think about people like Zem, like Manto, like Torpedo, Fear, you know? And there were people, you know, later down the line like I think about all of that, you know? So yeah, I suppose if we're all gonna be here, we're all gonna be on this website, be a part of this scene, this community, and it means perhaps what it means to me, to any of you as well, then I am thankful to share that with you. And while we're here, we might as well make the most of it, because like I said, not everyone's gonna be here for, you know, you never know when people are going to just not be on the website anymore, or not be, you know, active in this. That was very dangerous, by the way. You can crash the game doing that, I'm pretty sure. You know, not everyone's gonna be here forever. You know, I mean, none of us are gonna be here forever, truthfully, but like, you never know when people are just gonna get up and leave for whatever reason without warning, and then we don't hear from them again, so gotta make the most of it while we're here. I hope I never wake up and have to have news broken like that to me again. Alright, everyone take one long, deep breath. Because we earned it. That was a good ending. That was a very good ending. Oh, Lord. I feel like we covered a lot of ground there. That was a lot. That was a lot. There's a lot. I hope something in the now 47 minutes of conversation was beneficial to hear. Also, I'm gonna scroll up even. Aww. I'm sorry that I like skipped over that symphony. It wasn't by choice or anything. I'm just now getting the chance to read it. I'm sorry. That's yeah, that's horrible. Yeah, I'm sorry if I'm at a bit of a loss for words. It's a lot to take in. I don't even know what to say, to be honest. Yeah, that's a lot. I can only imagine what that must have been like. Not to, like, actually derail the conversation at all, but these fleets have all been awesome today. I had to. See, that's why I can't open my mouth. Anyways, now that we've got 5 seconds of actual speedrun talk out the way, let's get back to things that matter. I mean this every single time I say it too. But thank y'all for being here. I meant what I said earlier about trying not to take the fact that anyone cares about this for granted. You know? Like, it genuinely means a lot to me that people care in the first place. And I think about, like, how many people I've had a chance to meet at this point. How many people... I was talking about this in Cinder stream the other day when they're playing WoW. It's like awesome that like we all get to talk and whatnot and like be active in this community and like watch our friends run and, you know, talk here and there about things that are going on, but like it's another thing altogether to like literally be in the room with the person and talk face to face and, you know, share a drink with them, share a conversation with them. Like, I don't know. It's like, I don't want to say a pet peeve, but I feel like people bring up the word parasocially a lot, and oftentimes I feel in very inappropriate contexts. You know? But like, oh, let's go. I don't know, like, me personally, it's like I said, I'm happy to have met so many people at this time. So like, and maybe it has to do with you know, coming again from playing music, which obviously there's no internet in that. I mean, at least as far as like going to shows and driving to shows and, you know, I guess maybe in my head the concept of like, you know, 10, 15, 20 people all being in one house, or, you know, all being in a, like, just all being together, or like you drive however far to go and like see your friends play, or, you know, they'll drive hours to see you play or something. Like, so maybe that's why in my head, like, I don't know, to me, I've said this for a long time too. It's like, look, like, yeah, like, if I stream, it's like, I'm just with all my friends hanging out, you know? Like, it's not weird to me. So I guess bringing that into, you know, whether it's at GDQ or ESA or what, but, like, literally being in the room with them, it's, like, not much different. Okay, I need to hold this thought for 1 second because this is awesome. So I'm gonna try and cash this out. Hold on. Oh, dude, so close. Okay, sorry. Had to get that one out the way. Yeah, I don't know. So, like, maybe in my head, it's like, it's not like, because I know some people are like weirded out by it, which is fine, you know, because there's some, as we mentioned, some shady people on the internet, but like, I don't know. Maybe in my head, it's like not that weird. Like the transition from like talking to someone online or like being in a stream and like people show up and then being in the room with them and talking to them, like, I don't know. To me, it's like, well, I talked to them in one place and I'm talking to them in another place, you know? It's just so much nicer, for me anyway, you know? If it's like we're in the same room and we can actually like talk like human beings, if I may. Not that I have a problem with talking to people online, but it's just so much nicer. Alright, I'm gonna be honest. I'm probably going to highlight this entire run and upload it anyway because I feel like there was a lot that was said that is valuable, if to no one else, to me. So, alright. I need to pee. I will be back. And I totally understand that, Miggle. Like I said, maybe I think something I've come to realize very recently, as of like this year, maybe as like I've been to more and more events with speedrunning and Twitch in mind. I think at first it was weird to me that other people found it so weird, but like I think I've just come to realize that I am probably a bit of an outlier. I guess just because I come from a different, you know, like I said, years of playing music and whatnot, like stuff like that just doesn't even faze me. Like I don't stop to think, like, you know, I mean, I've had 4 people, I think, that I've met on Twitch at my house at various points, you know, and like that's not weird to me. It's like, you know, I mean, obviously as long as they don't make it weird, which, well, minus the one person I don't speak with anymore, who is most certainly weird, but the other 3, like, honestly, the other three of my favorite people I've met on this website, 100%. You know? I would have them back here in a heartbeat if they were into that idea, you know? I mean, Manto's been here a couple times now, so that's not, like, that strange. Alright. Close curtain. Class dismissed. I gotta piss.